We've got a lot to do today. Lots of lovely, lovely potato dishes. So we're looking forward to that. Hi guys.
Hi.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hi, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming.
Lovely to see you. Can you connect it to TV, Mommy? Sorry? Yeah, I'm going to connect it to TV. Wait.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so today we're going to make lots of different dishes with potatoes, and actually not just potatoes, but root vegetables. Okay, I think because it's cold and winter warmers. So I'm going to show you what we've prepared. All right, our Blue Peter moments we've prepared in advance, and then I'm going to try and get through some recipes so that you can see. All right. So, we've got some really yummy burgers here, and these are sweet potato and chickpea burgers. Alright, now these are vegetarian, but they could also be vegan as well, alright? So, they are particularly yummy. I've got a frittata, alright, which is really an omelette, and it's an omelette with potatoes in it, and I've added some lovely other vegetables as well. I've got some croquettes here, alright, but basically croquettes, I can't say the word, sorry. Croquettes are, it's mashed potato and made into, well, croquettes, so you just sort of, there we go. What can you say? I've got some mixed vegetables here, which are like chips, but I've added a few different root vegetables. So I've added some carrots. I've actually got some beetroot in there as well. I've got parsnip, and I've got this funny thing, which I'm going to show you in a bit, which is called a celeriac. All right, a celeriac, or sometimes we call it a bit like an alien. All right. So in here, I've actually made a celeriac gratin, which is, again, it's all cooked down, and it's got some sour cream in it and a bit of cheese, and it's really yummy actually. So there we have what we've got, and a lot to do. I've also done one sweet dish. I've got a apple and pear crumble here, and our crumble's a little bit different because we tend to use oats. Okay. Now, Tristan, are you going to come and do the technical side?
Yeah.
You know, guys, you know how good I am at the technical stuff.
Hi guys, thank you for joining today. As you can see, we've got a lovely range of food that we're going to be making. If you do have any questions, feel free to either unmute yourself and ask, because it's a relatively small class, or if you're a little bit camera shy, no worries, feel free to send a message to the account that I've just put a message up in the chat now. So feel free to send us a private one, or you can send one that everyone can see, and we'll answer them for you. We'll also be putting some YouTube links on throughout the session. So whenever Fiona's done making one of the recipes, I'll post that up for you guys, and you can always then give that a watch and make it again at home, or watch it again at home in your free time. So enjoy, guys.
Okay, so thank you, Tristan. Okay, so the first thing we're going to make, I'm going to put all these bits and bobs away so I've got a bit more space. We're going to make, to start, the sweet potato and chickpea burgers. Okay, now a few little handy tips here about how to cook this off and do this super quick. This is a sweet potato. This is a normal potato. And what I tend to do is score my potatoes, which means I put my knife into the potato, but only that much. And I just go all the way round the potato. Now, if you're in a hurry, you can pop these in the microwave. They'll probably take no more than about 6 minutes on a high wattage. Otherwise, you can pop them in the oven and they'll take about an hour, okay? So what I do is I score around the vegetable, okay? So this is a sweet potato, so you just score right the way round. And I'll show you why this is a good method. Now, guys, just remember, if you're doing this, please get an adult to help you, particularly if you're using a sharp knife. Okay, it is really, really important.
So we've just had someone join, so if you wanna...
Okay, hello. You're very welcome. Nice to see you. Okay, so we're doing lots of potato dishes today. So I've just shown everybody how to make and prepare a sweet potato, but it could be a normal potato as well. We just scored around the edges, alright? This one is cooked, alright? And obviously that one's raw. So for this dish, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how easy, look at that, that's so easy to pull off the skin. Okay, you don't need that skin. And I'm just going to put that into my bowl of chickpeas. Now what I've done to these chickpeas is I've used a tin of chickpeas. I've taken the tin, I've opened it, and I've just washed them. I've just rinsed them in a colander. And what I'm doing now is I'm just mashing them. You can do this with a fork, it's a good workout for your arms, alright? And you're just basically mashing in the sweet potato into the chickpea. Now obviously if you've got a machine, something like a Magimix, you could use that. Particularly if you're going to use big quantities and you're going to cook for lots of people. But you can easily do it with a fork. So in there at the moment is just chickpeas mashed up with some sweet potato. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to season that before I forget. I'm going to put in a little bit of mustard powder. I'm a real believer in mustard powder. I like a little kick, so I'm going to put in a little bit of paprika. But I'm not going to put too much in because I don't want it to be too spicy. If you would like, you could use curry powder. Okay. Mix that up again. I'm going to add some fresh coriander. I love fresh coriander, but you could use parsley. You could use chives, would go nicely with this as well. Okay, so you're going to get all that in there. If you wanted this dish to be slightly richer, you could also use an egg yolk. But again, if you're a vegan, you wouldn't be doing that. You could also add some cheese. I'm going to put a little bit of cheese into this. Again, vegan, you might want to use a vegan cheese or just not use cheese at all. So there you have your mix, and all I'm going to do now is you're going to take some breadcrumbs. Now I've got fresh breadcrumbs, but again you can just buy breadcrumbs, and again you don't have to use breadcrumbs if you don't want to, it doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my plate, this is my breadcrumbs here. Now the only thing that really matters about this dish is to make the burgers the same size so that they cook evenly. If you don't make them the same size, they won't be able to cook at the same rate. Okay? So, I've got a piece of paper here. You can put this straight onto a baking tray. I forgot to tell you at the beginning, but you know this, that you obviously wash your hands really, really well before you start cooking, preparing food, eating food, anything to do with food. You always wash your hands really, really well. Okay, so I'm going to just make little ones, but if you would like to make bigger ones, you could easily make bigger ones. You can see how easy that is just to roll them. That one's a little bit smaller, so I'm just going to add a little bit more mixture. And all you do is you just pat them down onto the breadcrumbs, move them around, turn them over, and there you have your first one. And there you have your second one. You could use brown breadcrumbs, white breadcrumbs. You can use, well, you can shop, like I said, shop bought ones. I can't say that word. Oh dear. Right. So there we go. This mixture is making up about 4. If you prefer your burgers to be a little bit flatter, you can flatten them out as well. It doesn't really matter. And then they will go into an oven, a hot oven, 200 degrees, and they'll only take about 10, maybe 15 minutes at the most. And I'll hope to show you those before we finish today when I take them out. So there you have it. And also, because it's a sweet potato, You could serve it with a bun, but to be honest with you, it might be a bit starchy. So maybe you could just serve it as it is with a salad or some vegetables, just as they are. Okay, so I'm going to pop those onto a baking tray like that, and I'm going to pop those into my preheated oven. Right, so those have gone in. So all is good. Now, I forgot to say, you could also, if you want to change it around a little bit, you could also add some, I've got some red onion here, spring onion, and you could add some garlic, alright? If you did that, you'd want to cook it off beforehand, okay? So this is very versatile, this dish. You can literally do whatever you want with it. It will work. It's great. Okay, so that's one dish done. So we'll now move on to our frittata, okay? Now for the frittata, you do need an oven-proof dish, okay?
Can you put it on the barbecue?
Right, okay. You could put that on at the barbecue. Let me get one here. But it is quite delicate, so you would have to watch it very closely and not let it burn. Okay, so it would cook very quickly. But yes, you could cook it on a barbie, but just watch it very carefully.
And I'm not entirely sure how this one was worded, but it said eggs. Could you involve eggs in this recipe as well somehow?
Yeah, in that mixture that you had, which was all mashed up, you could use some egg yolk. Yeah, that would make it richer and it would give it a lovely taste as well. But I don't think I'd use the whole egg because otherwise the mixture would be too soft. Alright, I think it would be too soft. Okay, fantastic. Great questions. Thank you guys. Brilliant. Alright, so we're going to move to the frittata. Now, you can make a frittata in all sorts of different ways and in all sorts of different dishes. Okay, some people like to make a frittata actually in a frying pan, and then towards the end of the cooking time, they put it under the grill, okay? I think that's a good method, but I think it's also a bit dangerous, alright? So my method is just to cook it in the oven and bake it off. That way, I'm not going to burn my hands and it's just a little bit easier. But it's up to you how you want to do it. You do need an oven-proof dish, okay? If you're making a large one, then obviously you're making a big family one, maybe for tea or something like that, then use a large oven-proof dish, okay? So this is super easy again, and this is one of those recipes which I love because you can use leftovers. Lots and lots of leftovers that you might have in the fridge. So I've got an array of different things. At the moment what I'm doing is I'm just running some olive oil. You could use vegetable oil, you don't have to use olive oil, just around the bottom of the dish so that my potatoes don't stick. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got some potatoes which I've cooked off. Again, I've left the skins on my potatoes. The reason I've left the skins on is all the goodness is in the skins, or just underneath the skins.
We've just had someone join, so maybe...
Hello! Hi, thank you for joining. Lovely to see you.
What are we making?
We are making lots and lots of different potato dishes. We've just completed our sweet potato dish, and we're now on to something called a frittata, which is a bit like an omelette, but with potatoes in it. So we put some cooked potatoes. Now, guys, really important, don't overcook the potato. So when you cook the potato, keep it firm. It's still quite firm, all right? Because it's going to go back into the oven and cook again. So I put a little bit of oil in the bottom there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on the top of those potatoes. And I'm going to add, I've got some peppers here. And I've got green pepper, I've got orange pepper, I've got yellow pepper. I love my dishes to be really colourful and have lots and lots of vitamins, minerals, just lovely things. Okay, so I'm going to stop at that point, and I'm actually going to do another layer of potato in there, and then I'm going to add some sweet corn. because I know that everybody or most people like sweet corn. So over the top like that, okay? And like I say, keep it lovely and colourful. That's what really matters. The old saying I always go on and on about, we eat with our eyes. We sure do. I know we eat with our mouths and we smell and all of that, but have we got a question coming in?
It's from the previous recipe. Can you put egg in the breadcrumbs?
Yeah, again, you won't need to egg the breadcrumbs because otherwise the mixture will be quite wet and soggy. So I think probably not, because it is such a soft mixture. Okay, but good question, good one. Okay, so we're back to now our eggs, all right? We also need to do a little bit of seasoning, but we're going to season the egg mixture. Okay, so we all know how we crack our eggs. We crack our eggs on the table, not on the side of the bowl, because we don't want any eggshell falling in. Okay, so very gently we crack the egg around what we call the belly of the egg and over the bowl. Okay, this way we can make sure that no shell has fallen in to the bowl. You can hear the difference, you can hear when it's cracked. Just very gently pull the egg apart like that. Okay, brilliant. And then you're going to pick up your fork and you're going to get on and do your lovely whisking. Now, again, very versatile dish. You could add some yogurt to the egg, you could add some milk, or you could add some creme fraiche, or you could add some sour cream. So it really doesn't matter. You can really add anything you like, or you don't have to add anything at all. So it really is one of those dishes where you decide what you like. I'm going to put in just 1 dessert spoon of, I've got sour cream there, and that's just going to give it a slightly thicker consistency. Right, now, I'm not going to forget that I want to season this. So my good old mustard powder. Now, mustard enhances the flavour of cheese. It makes cheese taste even better. So I've done that, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of, what am I going to put in? I think I'll put in some pepper. Okay. I'm sure you don't have peppers that are this big, but there we go. Mix that up. You could make it spicy, so you could add cayenne pepper, paprika, or whatever. So I'm going to put a little bit of cheese on there first, and then I'm going to pour this very, very carefully, because what I want to happen is for the egg to seep into the potatoes and all the vegetables. So I'm literally just very, very carefully pouring it, and that is going to seep through and hopefully coat all the vegetables and the potato. I'm going to finish that off with a little bit of cheese on the top, which is then going to hopefully go golden brown and give it a lovely golden brown topping. So that is your frittata, and like I said in the beginning, your frittata you could make in any dish, but it must be an oven-proof dish. Okay, so I'm going to pop that off into the oven. Has anybody got any questions while I've disappeared? There we go. Remember, always use oven gloves, guys, whatever you're doing. Okay, with the oven, make sure you always do that, okay, and keep yourself nice and clean and tidy. You know what I'm like. Okay, so that's 2 dishes down. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so we are going to make, now I'm going to show you how we make, actually I'm going to do the crumble next, because I'm hoping that that will be ready by the time we get finished. We're doing all right on time, we're not doing too badly at all. Right, so I'm going to give my hands a bit of a wash, guys, just to be safe and keep nice and clean. The other thing to remember, if you can, it's really good to have a timer, particularly if you are like me, Fiona, and you've got loads and loads of things going on, okay? So I'm going to put my timer on because I've got the croquettes in there, and, oh no, I don't have the croquettes, what have I got? The sweet potatoes and the burgers, sorry. And I have just finished off the frittata. Okay, so I'm going to make the crumble now. Now this is so easy and so delicious, particularly on a day when it's pretty cold, alright? So you can use whatever fruit you like. Obviously we're in the middle of winter, so I've got apples here. And as usual, I've left the skins on, alright? Leave the skins on because that is all your vitamins and minerals. It also gives it a better texture. It's really nice texture. I've got apples and I've got pears, okay? So actually, sorry, those were the pears and these are the apples, okay? And all I've done on top of those is put some cinnamon. These are eating apples and pears, alright? So they don't need, well, they don't need loads and loads of extra sugar, alright? It's not necessary. Okay, so I've prepped those up, okay? So
just remind a couple of people who just joined what we're making.
Okay, to go back over what we have made or just the
what
crumble?
We're making now.
Okay, we're making a crumble now, and we're making an apple and pear crumble. You could just do apple, or you could just do pear, or you can mix them. It's up to you. And our crumble is just a little bit different for the only reason that we add oats, okay? We put oats in, and that just gives it a lovely crunch, and it makes it really, really yummy. Okay, so what you need to do is you need an oven-proof dish, okay? Again, very important, all right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pears into the dish, and I'm going to mix them around with my apples. Okay, I like to season this with cinnamon, but you can use mixed spice. You could use even nutmeg. Some people like to use nutmeg. That's absolutely fine. You can use 5 spice. You can use whatever you like, really. You can also put some cinnamon actually in the crumble. It's up to you. Okay, so there I've got my fruit, which is ready. And then what I've got here is I've got my oats. I've got sugar, and I've mixed brown sugar and white sugar together. You could just use brown, or you can just use white. And I've got some flour. Now, everybody has a discussion about how they like their crumble. Okay, some people like their crumble to be really crumbly, and other people prefer their crumble to be a bit more what we call craggy, so a bit thicker. Okay, now that is everybody's choice about how you like it. So I'm going to put my flour in my bowl. I'm going to add my sugar. I'm going to add my oats. And then I'm going to add my butter. Now the butter needs to be soft, but it doesn't want to be melted. This is really important. Okay? And one of the best ways to do this, when I'm doing this in the summertime, I tend to not, sorry, that's a bit of cinnamon, I tend not, excuse me, to use my hands because it melts the butter, but in the winter time when it's colder it doesn't really matter so much. So you can put the butter in, and then you can either mash it with a fork like that, or like I said, you've got lovely clean hands, you've washed them really well. You can go in there with your fingertips. So this is where you use your fingertips only, okay, not your whole hand. You just use your fingertips, and it's called rubbing. You rub the fat into the sugar, the oats, the flour, and this is where you decide how much butter you're going to have to what the end result looks like. If you like it to be very crunchy, or if you like it to be quite fine. It's just really up to you. Everybody's different. Okay, so you just give that a really good rub like that. Make sure that the butter has really gone into all of the mixture, so you don't have great big lumps. You don't want to have lumps of butter, but on the other hand, you don't want it not to have, you know, texture. It's got to have texture, but with those oats in there, you've got plenty of texture. So there you have it. That's it. Like I say, you can season it more. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is I'm literally going to shake it all over the top. Look at that, that looks lovely. Oh, when that comes out, that is going to be so warm and hopefully a lovely crunchy top. So there you go, just cover over all the fruit like that. Okay, now for some of you, you might want to add a little bit of water just to the bottom. It really depends on how juicy the fruit is, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop it into the oven. I'm not going to put any liquid in now. I'm going to see how it goes and then maybe add some liquid if I feel it needs to. The apple and pear are going to cook down and they'll automatically have a lot of liquid coming out anyway. So there we go, that's the next thing in. Right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a look at the sweet potato chickpeas, because I think they are just coming out and are ready. So you have a look at those. They're very hot. They're a nice colour. They're firm. And they're looking really yummy. I don't think I did a very good job at keeping them all the same size. Next time I need to concentrate a bit harder to keep them all the same size. But anyway, there they are. They're looking good, and I'm sure Tristan will try them later. They will taste good, I'm sure. Okay, so the frittata is still in the oven, and that's not quite ready. The crumble's gone in. So I'm hoping that frittata is going to be just about ready, and I'm going to be able to show it to you before we get finished. Okay, so what else have we got to do? Ah, yes. So I wanted to show you now a couple of things. Okay, so these are some potatoes which I cooked off earlier. I did the same as I did before. I scored them around the whole potato. I've actually cooked these ones in the oven. Okay, and what I've done here is I've made some potato skins. They used to be quite fashionable a few years ago, and then I think we kind of went off them, or they were, I can't remember what they were called, potato skins or something like that. Anyway, I can't remember. But anyway, so it's very, oh, that's very good timing. I got to that before it did, which is good, very good news. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you how I have sorted out these potatoes, alright, for the skins, and also how I made the croquettes from the inside of the potato. So one of the easiest ways to do these skins is to cut the potato, this is the cooked potato, in half, and basically a bit like a melon, you just scoop the flesh out. Now I'm not going to waste the flesh because I'm actually going to mash that to make my croquettes. So all you do is you leave the skins on and you just cut very, very carefully. Now obviously if you're doing this at home, make sure you do it with an adult or you get someone to help you. Or if you're frightened or you're not happy about that, you could scoop it with a spoon. Okay, let's see if that works. You could just put a spoon in there. Actually, it works just as well, to be honest, so you could easily do that. Anyway, so you scoop all of those out, and then you're going to put them onto a baking tray. You're going to drizzle over some olive oil or some vegetable oil, and you're going to season them, and you're going to bake them in a really, really hot oven, so probably a bit higher than 200, until the skins go all crunchy. Here they are. Alright, like that. And then I would serve those with something like sour cream or a yogurt dressing, or maybe, you know, you want to make up something a little bit more exciting, or even sort of a salsa. You could do something spicy as well. Okay, so that's the skins there, so that's easy. And then with the rest of the potato, all you do is you're going to mash that potato, and you would just make, you could add a little bit of butter to this, you could add your seasonings to this if you're making your croquettes. You just mash it all together like that. You could put in a bit of egg yolk, again, you could put in a bit of butter, yeah, and you want to get it to a really thick consistency, you don't want it to be too thin. And then again, hopefully I've still got, yes I have, I've still got my breadcrumbs, excellent. Okay, so these breadcrumbs you can use again because it's all vegetarian and it's safe. So then you would just pick up the potato, you could roll it either into a ball, or you can roll it into, why are you laughing, Tristan?
Sausage shape, so we're going to say.
Into a nice sausage shape. That's exactly the word I was looking for. There we go, there we go, perfect. Okay, and so the croquettes.
Would you need eggs for this one? Is it a must?
No, I don't think it is a must. I mean, you can use an egg yolk, but you don't have to. But I do think you do need to season it. So I think once you get all that potato in there, you can also get your hands in there, you've cleaned your hands. Just season it up really, really well. And then that goes into the oven and it just bakes in a very similar way to the sweet potato and chickpea burgers. Okay, so there you have another one. We've done another one, so that's good. Right, okay, so now what I want to show you now is how we cut up the vegetables for our chips, okay, which are baked. They're not deep fat fried, so at least they're a little bit healthier again. So let's pop these to the side. Okay, now the other thing I didn't do today, guys, because I've done it with you guys quite a lot before, and you've all known it, is the good stuffed jacket potato. So the stuffed jacket potato is exactly the same again. You scoop out the potato, the flesh of the potato, and then you would stuff it with anything you like. So any vegetables. You get sort of what I call little boats. Okay, and then they would go off into the oven. They make a really, really good, I think, sort of lunch dish, and they're warming and they're healthy as well. You don't have to add lots of butter and lots of.
How long in the oven for the croquettes?
The croquettes will take probably about 10-15 minutes. Again, the croquettes, you want to just take them to the point that they're brown. Yeah, so you might, on the tray, you might have to give them a little shake, okay, to get them to that lovely brown stage, which is important. Okay, good questions. My, gosh, very good questions. Right, so let's put those to the side as well. So now what I want to show you is cutting up your vegetables. Now, the thing about these vegetables is that they all roughly need to be the same size to cook at the same rate, all right, okay? So it's important that you get the shapes that you want, but everything's the same size. So you don't want a huge piece of potato and a tiny, tiny piece of parsnip or something like that. So I'm just going to give my hands another little dip in the water. Remember, guys, you need to wash your hands and keep really clean and tidy. Am I tidy? Yes, I'm quite tidy. It's not too bad. As possible as you go along. All right, it's really important. I've always said that untidy chefs, it's actually quite dangerous. So it's better if we can be tidy. Okay, so I've got an array of things to show you. So this is celeriac, okay, and he grows in the ground like that, and you can see the green bit here. That's the bit that comes off the top, like that. Obviously you all know an onion. we've got a nice carrot there. We've got a potato. We've got a sweet potato. And just to add a little bit more, I've got a parsnip. I've got a turnip. And I've got a swede. So I've virtually got everything. And I've got some beetroot. Okay, right. Now, the thing about these things, all these root vegetables, which all grow below the ground, okay, is that we need to get them to be all the same size so that they cook evenly. It's really important, okay? So you really want to start out with probably the potato being your marker. So perhaps start with your potato, and again, I'm keeping the skin of my potato on. Now, if you're using really old potatoes, you might want to peel them, okay? But if you're using potatoes that are, well, are nice, you don't need to peel them. And all the goodness, again, is in the potato, under the skin, just under the skin. Okay, so that's my marker. That's what I want them to look like, okay? So I take my carrot. Again, I'm not going to peel my carrot, and I'm going to make my carrots roughly the same size again. Now, okay, if you're doing this at home, yeah, make sure you do this with an adult, or an adult helps you, yeah? Remember, it's either the ballerina, okay, or the spider with your hands up, okay? So whenever we're chopping anything, yeah, we keep our hands up, 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 up. So you hear me all the time saying hands up, 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 just to be safe. And the other thing is we keep them up and our nails hold on like that. Okay, now those are a little bit thick, so I'm going to just cut those through again like that. Okay, so that's how you make it, and you just keep going. Now obviously with the beetroot, he's a bit more difficult to make them, but I'm not gonna be defeated by my beetroot. Look at the colour on that, gosh. So I'm just going to cut them into small pieces like that. Okay, not everybody likes beetroot, but it's very good for you, and it has the most amazing colour. Look at it, fantastic. It'll spoil any good board that you've got. There we go. Okay, so that's how you prep your vegetables. And then what you do is, I'm going to show you about the celeriac in a minute, because that's a bit more difficult. You put all the vegetables into a bowl, like that, and you season them in the bowl, and you drizzle a little bit of olive oil, or you could treat yourself to a more special oil if you wanted, perhaps one with chili in it or something. And you literally just pick it up and you get all the vegetables just to be slightly coated with the oil. And then you want to season this. You can see look at the colour coming through this. This is from the beetroot. So if you don't like beetroot, you will get beetroot all over that. And then what I do is season that perhaps with pepper. You could use something a bit more, you could use some herbs, some dried herbs. If you go spicy, you could go paprika, you could go to really anything you like. And you just want to literally mix them around. You put them onto a baking tray, you put them into a hot oven, and they won't take long at all because the pieces are really quite small. So they will probably only take about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay? And you get yourself into a terrible mess. Right, okay, how are we doing with time, Tristan? 5 minutes, okay, good, we're doing good. Excellent. So, I think I should have a look at my frittata because my nose is telling me that the frittata is just, oh yes, my nose is good. My nose is good. There we go. It even really looks like a souffle. Alright, so it's really puffed up, that egg has cooked beautifully, and hopefully everything underneath is bubbling away and we've got lots and lots of flavour in there. So that's really good. I'm pleased with that. So what I'll do is I'll put those back onto there, and I'm just going to show you about the celeriac, because celeriac can be a little bit tricky. So I'll just put that there where it's not going to I don't never seem to quite have enough space, even though I've got a huge kitchen. There we go. That's the way it goes. Right. Okay. So think of those vegetables that have gone off. They're going to cook. And I just want to quickly show you about this strange thing, this alien. All right. Again, remember, get an adult to help you with this because this is very, very hard. Okay. What you need to do is you need to get through the root. Okay. Because that's, you can't use that bit. This is the bit you can use. Alright, but what I call the alien bit, the Doctor Who bit, you can't, okay? And you really have to work at this. Lots of people have asked me before, can you actually use a peeler on it? And I just think it's too difficult. I think it's really, really hard with a peeler because I need to get right past the skin. So I'm going all the way around the celeriac, okay? Once you've got off all the outside, then you're absolutely fine, but you need to work quite hard at it. And please, please, please remember, tuck your fingers in and be very careful. We don't want to hear that anybody has cut themselves. That's not good. Okay, so once you get to that stage, then you decide what you want to do. Now, if I wanted the celeriac to be like the potatoes and the chips...
Can you eat it raw?
Yes, you can. Good question. Excellent question. Yes, you can eat it raw. You can grate it, and you can use a mandolin, but they're very dangerous, very, very dangerous. But yes, you can, and it makes a lovely salad. All right. So you can cut it like that, or with my gratin, which I've now lost. Where's it gone? My gratin. There it is. Okay. With this one. What I actually did here, this is my celeriac gratin. I basically cut pieces to fit the dish and then I layered it, a bit like a lasagna. So I layered it, but it does take a while to cook if you do that method. But it's a bit like when you make a layer of potatoes, and then again you could add sour cream, yogurt. You could use eggs as well. You could actually cook it through with egg, or you can just cook it with a vegetable stock or any kind of stock you wanted to really. So that's how you've got your celeriac. Okay. Again, the Swede would be the same, and somewhere around here is a little. This is a turnip. Okay. So you have all your root vegetables there, and that's how you prepare them. Okay?
Can you repeat the name for us?
The name of
the
names of the vegetables. Good question. Yes. Okay. So the easy one is potato, sweet potato. This is a parsnip. I haven't got. I've used up the whole one. Sorry about that. Oh, hang on. Maybe I've got another one over here. Another parsnip. Maybe not. Okay. Let me get one of these here as well. Right. Okay. So parsnip looks like a carrot, but it's sometimes called a white carrot. Okay. Then we've got beetroot. All right. That's the one that made me go all red and pink and everything. The big one here, this is a Swede, okay? The funny looking one, the alien, here he is again, is called celeriac, and this one is a turnip. So I think you've virtually got the whole family there. There might be a few missing, but in general, all of those, if you just go to here, they all grow below the ground, under the ground. Okay? Cool, good questions, excellent. I hope I didn't guess anything wrong there, but anyway, I'm sure you'll let me know if I have. Okay, so let's have a quick look before we get finished at the crumble. Now the crumble is not quite ready, and I want to show you why it's not quite ready. I can hear it, I don't know if you can hear it. Could you hear it a little bit? Yeah, it's sizzling away. If you would like to add a little bit of water to that now, or you could add a little bit of apple juice or orange juice, you can, but obviously be really careful because it is really, really hot, okay? So be very careful. But that's not quite ready. It's probably only needs another 5, maybe 10 minutes, if that. Okay?
What is the name of the dish that you use the celeriac in?
The dish that I use the celeriac in, this one,
Yes.
this is called celeriac gratin. Okay, that's quite a big word really. It's a French word for baking it. It's a baked celeriac. All right, and it basically you're just cooking it in a one pot. I think that's the best way of saying it. Okay, so guys, today, gosh, what haven't we done today? Okay, we have done our frittata, okay, and that is the potato and egg dish, all right, which is basically an omelette with potatoes and veggies in. We've got the celeriac gratin, okay. We've got potato croquettes. Again, you could use any of these vegetables in the croquette, so you could mix them, all right, into the mash. We've got the sweet and sour, what do I say, sweet and sour?
Sweet potato.
Sweet potato and chickpeas was pretty far out there, okay, all right. Don't know where my head went then. We've got the potato skins, okay, which have been cooked off. And then these ones, as you know, we haven't cooked yet, but they're going to be cooked. And those are chips, or there are baked root vegetables, okay? And then finally, if I haven't forgotten anything, we've got the crumble, okay? So the apple and pear crumble, or you could have just apple or just pears. Okay, I think we got there, Tristan. I think.
What are we making next week?
Good question. What are we making next week? Next week, actually guys, we have got a few weeks of quite a lot of excitement because we've got Chinese New Year coming. So we thought we'd do a Chinese theme. So I think we need to do that next week because the week after we need to do Valentine's Day and Valentine's dishes. And the week after that, or at the same time, we have to do pancakes.
Yeah.
Is that the same time?
Roughly the same
so
time.
I think we might have to put pancakes together with Valentine's so that we practice the pancake making and possibly tossing, which could be quite funny. And we'll make some lovely things. And then, guys, going into March, we've got Mother's Day. Alright, so we have to make something really, really special for all those wonderful mummies. Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot of things going to happen. And look, you know, just look at all this array of everything we've got here. So I think we've done our root vegetables proud, and I hope you think so too. I hope, guys, that's given you also some ideas that you can do and you can make. Be adventurous, try something new, try maybe a different root vegetable, maybe do some mashed potato and put parsnip in it. It's delicious, it's really, really nice. Or maybe try celeriac if you've never tried it. It is out there at the moment in the shops, and root vegetables are really, really good value at the moment. Okay, so if anybody's got any further questions or not, we will see you next week. And as I say, next week we will do our best for Chinese New Year, which I think is on, I think it was the 12th, wasn't it? I think it's around the 12th. But anyway, you can have a look at your calendars and see when it's coming up, okay? A question?
Hi. I'm sorry for being late. We were rushing back from the school. It's excellent. I really enjoyed your today cooking school. This is our first experience. It's just a question or something that maybe others will find useful. Would you be able to send us a list of ingredients that you're going to be using for the day? I mean, for the display, because I would like to actually try to cook it with you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, what we're doing is we're doing two things. We have to be very careful because obviously this Zoom is mainly around children and young people, and we made the decision that it was a little bit dangerous to have the children in the kitchen trying to copy what I'm doing, just because of health and safety. So what we're doing is we're going to be doing two things. It will be on YouTube, all the recipes and all the dishes we do. And also what we're trying to do is video it as well, so that you can look back and see the video and reproduce the food as we go. But we actually don't want to encourage the children and yourself to cook with us because, one, I've got 40 minutes and it's a lot to do. And I don't know if everybody's going to keep up with me because obviously I've done a lot of prep work beforehand. But like I say, everything will be on YouTube and you will have the opportunity to go back over the dishes and also maybe try your own dishes as well.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah.
When I go to Zoom,
We will look at the YouTube.
you go to Zoom.
Yeah, well you look at the YouTube and you'll see that how to do it, and then you need to practice it, hey? It doesn't just happen like that, you've got to practice. And maybe Mum needs to practice too. Sorry about that. Okay guys, well thank you so much for joining us. It's been really lovely seeing you all. You've been a fabulous audience, so thank you. None of you've heckled me too much. And we'll look forward to seeing you hopefully next week.
Yeah, no.
Yes?
Can you keep a good cat for me, please?
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do. Okay guys, lots of love. You take care and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you for joining us. Take care.